Hi, we are to case 2 in our 45th episode, which I have entitled Crazy Mother Effers because of the Step Momsters and Monsters. Just some momsters that are blood related, and then the step momsters. So speaking of step momsters, and our last case, I was saying if anybody, when there's a warrant out on somebody, case 2. What do you think case 2 is about, friends? Well, let me introduce you to, they're kind of famous now, and we're drinking some Skinny Rita sweetest margarita. So here's to the happy couple, not married, do have a child together. We're on the run. Why? Why cheers them? Well, let me tell you. This couple, believe it or not, is one of the first, or the first couples that were put on the US Marshals list, top 15 wanted people. So, woohoo! Way to go. Here they are up here. This is Araceli Medina. She is 38. And here is her, lover, co-conspirator, Edgar Jr., who is 34. Now, I'm not going to draw your attention and say you have to look out for them anymore, because guess what? They have been caught. Isn't that great? Yes. They were arrested in Mexico. What were they arrested for? Well, similar to our little cute friend Noel, Rodriguez Alvarez from Texas. Please meet Edgar Cassian, named after his father, as one does, right? And I'm not against naming children directly after their fathers or mothers, but it does, I think, sometimes tend to be an ego thing. Sometimes it's just a family tradition, right? But as you can see, they didn't really respect this child. So Edgar was found February 5th. 2022, but he went missing October 2020. So, as I'm sure you remember, during the pandemic, it seems like a lot of kids disappeared, doesn't it? I mean, and it was harder. People were probably more frustrated because they had them home all the time, and they were supposed to be teaching them school. And yeah, the interesting thing about this case, though, is these two people here. Yeah, she already had, I think, before she got involved in the situation, she had 9 kids, and 3 were taken away. And Mr. Edgar had 3 kids, and so she had 7 on her own. And is that right? And he had 3 that were at his mother's house that he shared with his ex-girlfriend. Well, friends, I don't know if it was that. I don't know why Edgar and his girlfriend went to pick up his 3 children. There were 2 girls, 8, I believe 3, and this 9-year-old boy, Edgar Jr. They went to his mother's, and in, let's see, what part of 2020 was it? In May of 2020, they're like, oh no, we'll take care of those kids now. Give them to us. So, because as you can see, here's Edgar when he was living with his grandmother. Look at that child. He's dressed so cute. He's all dolled up for a picture. And then as he's older and living, I think with, I can only see, yeah. He doesn't look as happy, and he wasn't. So the authorities don't know anything about this family until this couple has the children. They do enroll them in school. now, I think her other children had to be living with them as well. So there's all these kids in the house. By the fall, in September 2020, the kids are doing Zoom school, but all of a sudden, his 3 kids, bloop, disappear. Now, thank goodness, teachers who are legally first reporters. They have to report if there's a problem. The teacher reported. And again, very common story, sent the police, CPS, to the house for a well visit, and they could not locate the boy. What happens? You want to guess what happens? They make a run for it. They go to Mexico. They take all the kids to Mexico. Now, that was in October, because in October, we know that by that time, the young man has been disposed of, and we know that the family flees because the teacher has made a call. Then it takes a whole year, May 2021. Well, not a whole year. So October to, I'm going to do this just like a kindergarten, October to November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So 7 months. Thank you for, if you don't know, I'm a dyslexic detective and math is my area. Just some of it. Okay, so 7 months later, in Tijuana, they find these 2 little girls abandoned. One in a wheelchair because she can't walk, a 9-year-old little girl at this time, and then this little sister who I think is either 3 or 4 by the time she's found. The older girl can talk though, and they are interviewed extensively by the authorities. They had been abandoned for a year or so. They had been what the authorities think is trafficked for assaying, and had been physically abused and had signs of being terribly assayed. If you're new to YouTube, that's our little YouTube friendly language for an assault that happens in an inappropriate way. You know, we're not going to get into it, but you can read the context clues. So, and they say, and our brother was killed back at home in Washington. They explain that they had been put in a shower with the shower head just streaming on them as punishment, I guess. I don't know, and left by the dad and the girlfriend. And when the dad and the girlfriend came back, Edgar had, I guess, drowned in that tub with them there, which is lovely. Now, his remains were found. So right away then, they know that he's probably dead. They put out, all points bulletin, the US Marshals are involved, but they're not on the big list yet, but they're looking for them. They know that they have these other children. They have 5 other children with them, all of the girlfriend's biological kids, because, they have now either gotten rid of, abandoned, or killed all of his biological kids. So I don't know. In May of 2020, did they get those kids just for that purpose, to use them, abuse them, and throw them away? It's enough to make you want to drink a couple bottles of margarita. So the girls are taken into custody. They begin in Washington. It's a Pasco, Washington state, looking for the remains of Edgar. So the remains are found, as I say up here, February 5th, 2022, within 15 or 20 minutes. So basically, as soon as Edgar had passed, they just threw his bones and then ran. Nice. Now, they had an infant since this time. They named the infant Edgar Jr. Nice, right? Yeah, because they knew he was gone. So now besides the baby, named after, I can't say named after the dead brother because it wasn't after him. They're naming it after the dad, and since they knew the kid was dead, they just used the name again. Because, you know, he needs a namesake, doesn't he? These were the missing children. They have been found safely when they arrested the parents. So that's why I'm bringing this up to you now. They were put on the list. I have so many notes about this case. They were put on the list in February after they found the remains of the little boy. They put him on the US Marshals 15 Most Wanted. They were the first couple to be on that list, and they were found, you know, within a month of being put on it. February 19th, 2023, they were put on the US Marshals top 15th with a $25,000 reward. And let me just tell you, if you want to get somebody's attention to give you information, offer them $25,000. So somebody got that money because the children were found safe and they did arrest the parents. Elania Medina, Ramiro Medina, Milagros Medina, and Melissa Medina, who also had a picture where her hair was blonde. So they were trying to disguise these children. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe she was pimping out her oldest too. Because the oldest is 15, then 11, 8, and 3, and we know they have an infant. Yeah, oops, we're up to our next friend. So, yeah, I'll tell you more. They are arrested. They were taken back to, they have not been extradited yet from Mexico. They will be, unless something happens to them in a unless they're Epstein in a Mexican prison. I heard Mexican prisons aren't too great. So, yeah, we'll hear more about that. But again, she did this. They had no reason to take those 3 kids. The 3 kids were with their grandmother, and it was only that the father grabbed them. And the mother was very upset about where did they go. She didn't think they were safe with that woman. And, you know, real step monster. All right, that was case 2. And if you want to hear more, hey, it would be great if you could give me a thumbs up. It's free. Thumbs up. And, you know, if you want to give me a comment about what you think, what do you think they went and got those 3 kids for? Just to abuse, and throw them away? I mean, that's sick. I hear about trafficking, but it's really weird. I don't know. Why did the guy let his girlfriend do that? Don't you think that? If you have any insight into that culture and of people using their, I mean, please don't be graphic, but I'm just saying, have you known anybody who got pulled into this type of scenario where they meet somebody who says, hey, do you have kids? Well, I've got enough of my own, so let's do something horrific with yours. I just don't, it boggles the mind. All right, we'll go on to case 3 next. Give it a thumbs up, please, and I'll see you in a second with our next case.